Communicating with clients is one of the most critical responsibilities facing an internal auditor. Poor communication can undermine what would otherwise be a successful internal audit engagement. Now let's focus on the importance of engagement communications. Purposes of engagement communications are to inform, to persuade, and to get results. The goals of internal auditors include providing useful and timely information and promoting improvements in operations. To accomplish these goals, engagement communications should meet the expectations, perceptions, and needs of operating and senior management. For the benefit of senior management, the communication should provide appropriately generalized information regarding matters of significance to the organization as a whole. For the benefit of operating management, the communication should emphasize details of operations. Internal auditors should be skilled in oral and written communications to clearly and effectively convey such matters as engagement objectives, evaluations, conclusions, and recommendations. All right, let's talk about preliminary communication. The Chief Audit Executive generally notifies client management about the timing of the audit, the reasons for it, the preliminary scope, and the estimated client resources needed. For an assurance service, the process owner is the person or group directly involved with the entity, operation, function, system, or other subject matter. For a consulting service, the process owner is the person or group seeking advice, such as the engagement client. The IIA uses the term engagement client for both assurance and consulting services. Before the initial communication with the engagement client, the internal audit activity should gather basic information about the client. For example, the auditor should gather information about its industry, principal personnel, processes, major inputs and outputs, and the control environment. Some information may be acquired by sending a questionnaire to the client early in the audit process. The answers are then discussed at the preliminary meeting. When the engagement involves such activities as a surprise cash count or procedures related to suspected fraud, the preliminary notice is omitted. If the results of a preliminary survey and limited testing reveal no deficiencies, the internal audit activity should send a memorandum of communication to the client summarizing the preliminary survey results and indicating that the engagement has been canceled. Interim communications provide a prompt means of documenting a situation requiring immediate action. This type of communication is preliminary. It should indicate that the basis for such communication may be information that is the result of an incomplete study, and that the final engagement communication will follow up on the topics included in the interim communication. Interim communication is sometimes called progress communication. It's prepared by the internal audit staff and should be reviewed by the Chief Audit Executive or other supervisory personnel. Progress communications about deficiency observations should have the same structure as communications on observations. Deficiencies are described in records of engagement observations and are communicated to management in the form of a single-page executive summary. Progress communications also may be used to report the status of long, sensitive, or otherwise special engagements to the clients and senior management. Interim reports, whether oral or written, transmitted formally or informally, communicate the following: information needing immediate attention, a change in the scope of the engagement, or the progress of a long-duration engagement. The use of interim reports does not reduce or eliminate the need for a final report.